As you can see, I'm about ready to put the undercarriage doors on, but before I do that, there's something very interesting about this kit's undercarriage, and I'll tell you all about it after this. Roll credits. Before we get onto the landing gear, I think we'll just have a quick recap. As you can see, I put clear glass lenses with little red navigation lights onto the wingtip. You'll know exactly how I did that because you'll have watched the video where I did it, which was my last video. You did watch it, didn't you? Come on, you know you want to know how I did this. I go through all the steps, everything you need, all the information is there, and as you can see, it doesn't look half bad. And just to prove I did do both sides, here's a starboard light. I didn't actually show this being done in my tutorial video, but rest assured it was done exactly the same way. Now for the rest of the kit. As you can see, the nose glazing is on and masked with the gun, which is a Vickers K gas operated gun. I was calling it a Lewis gun in a previous video, which is not the correct type of gun. And a subscriber pointed that out to me. I can't remember your name, but thanks, you were right, of course you were. So that's on, that's all in there. That is the replacement metal barrel that will take a lot more punishment than, whoopsie, the original kit parts plastic barrel. And here we have the same crew member from a different kit who is now fully ensconced in his bomb owner's position. So, geez, it's maxed up so you can't see him. And that is where we are. The tailplanes aren't there, you'll notice. That's because they've been painted with 2 white stripes. If you just bear with me, so I don't want them on until towards the end of the build. Just got to work out which one's which. That'll be that one, and that'll be that one. That will go on there. As you can see, that's all painted on, so I don't want it to get blasted when I paint the rest of the kit. So they will probably go on pretty much last. So I did mention the undercarriage at the start of this video, so let's go and have a look at that. So back to the undercarriage. Now if I show you these undercarriage doors, there's a couple of things you might notice. The first most obvious thing is that they actually have the word, well, not quite the word, but starboard printed on the inside of them, which is pretty cool. But the other side just has the part number. So I suppose they assumed if you knew this was starboard, obviously the other one would have to be port. But with the part number, you know where to put it anyway. But it's still a nice little touch, I think, by Airfix. I've seen other kits with port and starboard printed on things, usually on the cage doors if I'm honest, and wings, and sometimes engine nacelles. And the other thing is that you can see on, particularly here, you've got these little pegs. Now these black ones are the original ones from my kit, and in disassembling it I did break things off. They originally would have had pegs there on both sides. This is one from a excuse me, this is one from a scrap kit I was given, and you can see that's still got, it's not quite all of it, but it is there. Now, why would Airfix have done that, I hear you ask? Well, if you look at the instructions, which you should be seeing on screen now, you can see as you assemble the engine nacelles and the undercage doors, the undercage doors are marked with a black square, which means do not glue. So these would have been movable. Also, if you look at the instructions that show you how to assemble the actual undercage gear, excuse me, undercage gear itself, then this, where, I don't know if you can see this, but where it fits into this part of the undercarriage, that isn't like a socket, that's actually sort of a half socket, and this just braces into that. And the idea is that you would pop this out, fold it underneath there, this would fold back, and I think on mine, as you can see, that is not fixed at the top end, so it would move. The unfortunate thing is, I kind of wish I hadn't done it now, but I have glued it there just to hold it in place, so I'm not gonna mess about. I'll most likely break it. But basically, Airfix give you the option, if you were careful as well, you would have had a working undercarriage. And on the instructions it shows you building this part and this part, and a little inset that shows you how it should look when it's closed up. So that's quite a little cool thing. And there are other Airfix kits of this vintage I know will have folding undercarriage. The first one, and it's literally above my head, is the old B17. If you've seen any of my videos of that, in fact it is close enough for me to reach. Also, just before I do that, of course, the tail wheel just fits into two sockets, and on mine it does retract. I don't want to push it too far because I might not be able to get it back out, but, and my B17, if I can get it, yeah, I did the same thing with the turret as I did on this Halifax. It's not actually fixed in, but on this, what you've got is a little peg there that presses against the side of the engine nacelle, and just a slight bend, he says, and there we go. Now, actually this feels quite stiff, so I don't want to, oh there we go, and it will, it probably should go a lot further than that, but I don't want to, it feels ever so stiff, so I don't want to chance my arm and push my luck. But yeah, and another kit that I know you could make the undercarriage work, but it would have been a real trick to actually do that, is the old tool Junkers 88. that had a similar system. But how would you make the doors open and close on that? I have no idea, because they were completely different. If I get close to 1,000 subscribers, or even 1,000 subscribers, I have 3 builds of the old tool Junkers 88. One I think I built in 81. One I built in probably the same time as I was building this, in the early to mid 90s, and one I built in the early 2000s. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, what I'll do is I'll dig them all out, and I'll make a video showing how my modelling has improved since 1981 using the same kit. Would you like to see that? I don't know if you would. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing that for a 1,000th, a 1,000 subscriber extravaganza, but that's going to be in the future. Let's get back to this. So all I really need to do now to carry on with this is to fix the undercage doors on, because these won't work. It's a bit of a pity, but it's also a potential massive faff, and you run the risk of every time you open and close it of breaking something as well, which is, I'm going to leave it be. But as I say, it was quite cool, a thing of Airfix to do. So on that note, I'm going to set this up here, get these in place, and then we really can think about painting, which I am really looking forward to. Right, it's time. It's time to see if all this work I've done on these marbling coats will pay off. Voice is a bit iffy today, so I'll try to keep the speaking parts down to a minimum. What do you mean, hooray? How dare you? Right, we're all set up with the airbrush, we're all set up with the kit, so let's just go for it. Now I've got, what am I using? Probably should have showed you this before I actually started, but I'm using extra colour night black, along with a good dose of this stuff to make sure we get a decent drying time. Right, that's not too bad. Going to leave it there. I'm possibly going to have another go at this, but I want to just leave that to dry, then maybe come back again and give it some more coats. It's not bad, but I don't think it's fully where I want it to be. So I'm going to do this other tail plane. I'll probably cut the camera off there, do the rest of it, and then you'll see it when it's all had at least one more coat, and we can have a look at what we've achieved. Alrighty, what we've got, it's black, but it's not black, which is what I'm trying to achieve, but it's a little bit too much not black, if you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm going to let that go off, carry on with the rest of it, just probably spray a light coat of black over the entire thing, same as I've just done there, and then carry on with the paintwork afterwards. It's now roughly 24 hours after you saw me start to paint this on the tailplane. Now in that 24 hours I've just been painting away, and what I did was I painted it as if I was pre-shading it, painting onto the panel lines and rivets on this kit, then gently filling out the rest of it. And then once that was all done, I made a really thin mix of the night black, dusted it completely over to tie it in. Once that was done, I actually got some of this, some tire black, and it decides to focus. Thank you. And I was quite random painting this all over. I painted parts where the exhaust would streak as a sort of stage 1 of weathering. I painted random spots all over. Some panel lines I've accented. The control surfaces I've also accented with that other colour, and you will notice that it is very, very shiny. That's because this extra colour is glossy out of the tin, which helps with your decals, but of course does mean that for something like this at some point it's going to need a matte coat which will also help to tie in all these coats of paint I've put on it. You can see it looks solid but not solid, which was what I was hoping to achieve. Plus this is the first time I've attempted to paint something exactly like this, so we're not doing too bad. So I'm going to leave all that to dry, and then I'm going to do a little bit of masking, because I've kind of, in doing the black, I've kind of painted this not the wrong way around, but what I'm thinking, hindsight is 2020, but what I probably should have done is to paint the entire fuselage, including the camouflage, then attach the wings, and painted the wings sort of out to the first engine. And then, because now what I've got to do, I've got to put masking on the fuselage, which also follows the shape of this wing, which is going to be a little bit tricky. I've got some bendy flexible masking tape, so we'll see how we go with that. But if the wings weren't on, in fact if that was painted on the wing, I could fix it together, mask the actual wing, and then paint the fuselage. So what I just said about painting the fuselage, ignore that. I might even edit that out. The easiest way to have done this is to actually paint the tops of the wings first, at least out to the first engine. Then that could be fitted there, and then instead of having to mask along there onto the fuselage, I just would have had to mask actually on the top of the wing, which would be a lot simpler and easier. I have got some flexible tape which will probably do a job, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to let this all dry, get some masking on that onto there, like I just said. I'm going to mask a line up for the top camouflage on the fuselage, and then I'm going to play with this stuff. So it'll be like seconds for you, but probably a few hours minimum for me. So I'll see you there. Did I say a little bit of masking and a couple of hours, a few hours? Yeah, I was a little bit over optimistic in that appraisal. So what I'm going to do, I have actually got both sides of the fuselage done, but there's still a ways to go. So I'm going to call this video here. Next time you see this will all be masked, and we'll be doing the top camouflage. And on that note, I shall bid you farewell. If you enjoyed the video you've just watched, here's another video you might want to watch, a playlist you might want to watch also. And please don't forget to, if you have enjoyed it, leave me a like and maybe a subscribe. I would much appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.